Mothers can change between formulas because most formulas, as long as it's the same type, are interchangeable. What we recommend, though, is if your child is on a hypoallergenic formula or a specialty formula, contact your pediatrician. Some babies will have a little bit of an adjustment period, so some moms choose to try to introduce that new formula slowly, maybe half of one formula and half of the other for a day or two, just to let their babies adjust. But I like to tell parents it's kind of like, in some situations, the difference in Heinz ketchup and Hunt's ketchup. They're sort of the same thing, just a little bit of a different flavor. We do not recommend watering down formula for several reasons. It can lower the nutritional value, it can lower the amount of vitamins, and it can cause poor growth. So please do not water down your baby's formula. We do not recommend homemade formula for several reasons. It can become contaminated, it can have abnormal concentrations, it can lead to problems like poor growth and even seizures if the amount of electrolytes gets out of whack, out of balance. Right now, they are looking at some formulas that are made internationally. The FDA is looking to approve some and have some shipped from overseas to the U.S., so stay tuned on that information. We don't recommend goat's milk for babies. Again, it does not have the right amount of vitamins. It doesn't have iron, folic acid, or vitamin B12, so it can cause significant anemia. If your baby is growing, if they're gaining weight properly, if they're having plenty of wet diapers and dirty diapers, then that's a good sign that your baby is getting the right amount of nutrition. We routinely recommend starting solids at about 6 months of age because that's when a baby is developmentally ready. So we don't recommend substituting formula with food. We recommend just adding foods at the age of 6 months and up. Generic formulas are generally fine, so store brand formulas can also be interchanged with things like Enfamil, Similac, and the name brand formulas. We don't always recommend buying formula or breast milk from a third-party site because we don't really know where that formula is coming from. We recommend that breast milk that might be purchased comes from the Human Milk Bank or the Mississippi Mother's Milk Bank. And again, formula that should be purchased can come from a store. It can come from an online seller, but just be careful because you don't always know what that information or where that formula comes from. Certainly reach out to your pediatrician and we can give you advice. If you get your formula from WIC, from the Women and Infant and Children Program, then you can contact the Mississippi State Department of Health. They can get formula for you and sometimes in some situations can get it directly shipped. If you are about to have a baby, we recommend you first off attend one of the Forrest General breastfeeding classes if that's something you're interested in, because moms who breastfeed are not really having this issue with formula. Breastfeeding can be hard. It can take some time. The more information you have before delivery, the more successful you're going to be after delivery. And if you are breastfeeding and you're interested in increasing your milk supply or stretching your milk supply or trying to store up some milk, talk to the lactation consultants at Forrest General Hospital. They can help you with the storage and handling of breast milk.